All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Midday Update. I'm Laz here around 12:30 in the afternoon. Things have slowed down substantially. Let's jump right into it. We're going to look at the S&Ps and the Russell. We're also going to look at a couple stocks here. So as we jump over here to the S&Ps, we continue to consolidate last week. Again, this was the better part of last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We really stayed in this very tight, controlled range. The upper boundary being, again, this is the spiders, 141, the lower boundary being about 139.80. If we look at a smaller time frame, here's a 30-minute chart. You're going to see that contraction. Again, the market is really just contracting. The one thing that we have to acknowledge here, and we have to definitely take note of, is this 141 level. This is now essentially been tested 1, 2, and Friday's highs being 3. Immediately we came down this morning, looking a little bear flag-like pattern here developing through lunch, so we need to be aware of possible lower prices into the afternoon. The lower boundary here is, like I said, 139.80. So, the market could, we could see a move down to retest these lows and potentially even break down out of this range. A lot of times with a sideways channel, which is really what this pattern is, when we do get a break of the pattern, whether it's up or down, many times you'll see in this instance a market possibly push down, snap back, and then we see a larger trade. But right now we are dead center in this range, and it's a very, very difficult place to be. Stay with the intraday patterns. Here's the intraday patterns. Really are the patterns that are making traders money here on the smaller time frame. Here's a 10-minute look. Again, sitting in the lower end of the range. It did test this morning low once, and so far has held. So we could just be in this sort of this grasp of the market where we've seen a lot of very controlled, tight afternoon sessions. We really haven't seen any aggressive buying in the afternoon. We haven't seen that much aggressive selling by and large. So we'll keep an eye on how this develops. Obviously some of the smaller time frames are pointing to possible lower prices this afternoon. We do have to contend with that lower level, 139.80 in the SPYs. Very, very tight market right now, and it's one that's best left to the shorter term time frames and the faster money day trader type action. As far as individual symbols go, there's definitely a couple symbols we need to talk about. Oh, before I get into the symbols, I just wanted to talk about the Russell. We look at the Russell, the IWM. That's the one index here that's definitively different looking. It's made a series of lower highs, definitely notably lacking the rest of the bigger indexes. And today you're seeing breaking down out of this 4-day range that it's been in. So the Russell, the one index here that we want to keep sort of on the side here, is this is the one that definitely has broken. As far as the bigger indexes, we look at the diamonds. As far as the Dow goes, very much like the S&Ps, definitely seeing some selling today, which could essentially accelerate into this afternoon. Certainly has that look, as well as the spiders, but so far still in that range as of 12:40 here on Monday morning. A couple standouts from the trading side. Apple through the 625 level very early this morning, right off the bat. We gapped up. Here's a 5-minute look. We gapped up, and we just saw 15 minutes of aggressive buying, followed by what is now a very, very healthy bullish contraction through lunch. I think any trade through 628, possibly we're going to see new highs this afternoon in Apple. So for those looking for that one beacon of strength, I think this is probably, from an intraday standpoint, your best bet. And I'll show you a chart here. This is that 5-minute Apple chart. Again, just that first 15 minutes of buying, very controlled pullback, and we've held in this range for the better part of 3 hours at this point. So this is something I know that a lot of traders are going to be on the lookout for along this afternoon. Another trade that's held in relatively well from a long standpoint is Google. Google again gapping up this morning and trading higher, albeit a little slower, but nevertheless breaking out of this range. So keep an eye on Google for higher prices. Let's look at a smaller time frame. You can see pulling back off of highs here at 655, and this is a trade I think buyers are still looking to get involved with. As shorter term, it's been very strong. Another stock that we've been watching, or I've been watching, I should say, is MLNX. This is one that's been very, very strong, and we've talked about it a whole bunch of times, but definitely creating a high here on Friday and seeing some selling here today. So is this a pullback, or is this the beginning of something maybe a little larger? The weekly chart to me is very scary here. Is essentially it's gone parabolic here on a weekly. So an undercut of last week's low, which is about 105.25, could mean a larger pullback in the cards here in MLNX, as this stock is very, very extended. So a couple of strong ones. You know, there is some weakness out there in this market. We need to keep an eye, like I said, on that Russell, because the Russell, you know, could spell something larger, and we'll watch how the larger indexes, the Dow and notably the S&Ps, maybe potentially follow suit this afternoon. So keep an eye on some of those for trades. But for right now, the general theme is to continue to day trade. We are deep into August. We're in the middle of August, and as we get into, you know, Labor Day, I suspect this might continue to stay like this. Where you're getting, you know, the first 30 to 40 minutes, there's good price movement, things are happening relatively fast, and then it sort of contracts for the better part of the day. And that's just the general theme of the market right now. We're just going to keep an eye on it one day at a time to see how, noticeably how the S&Ps handle this, you know, this range, this 139, and the SPYs 139.80 to 141. So we're going to keep an eye on that trade going forward. As always, have a great day trading, and I'll talk to you on the VTF this afternoon. Take care, everybody.